Hello and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're breaking down an absolute thriller from the 2026 World Cup. Down in Kansas City, surrounded by just a sea of passionate fans, we witnessed a wild quarterfinal clash between the reigning champs Argentina and an incredibly resilient Swiss national team. I mean, this match literally had everything. We're talking early breakthroughs, stunning counterattacks, massive controversy, and an extra-time rocket that we're going to be replaying for years.
But before we get to the goals, let's talk about the overarching narrative here. Can anyone actually stop Lionel Scaloni's men? They're attempting something monumental. If they lift the trophy this time, they become the first team since Brazil, way back in 1962, to retain the World Cup crown. So, the stakes, they couldn't be higher. Every single opponent knows they have a chance to play spoiler to history.
Okay, let's dive into this, because the crucial context right here is the number 12. Going into this quarterfinal, Argentina was riding a crazy 12-match World Cup unbeaten streak. They swept through the group phase, squeezed past Cape Verde, and survived a scare against Egypt. But Switzerland? They hadn't trailed at all during qualifying or the tournament up to this point. They presented a uniquely stubborn tactical challenge for the champs.
Act 1, the fast start and the unlikely header.
Now, here's a quick roadmap of the emotional roller coaster we're about to unpack. An incredibly early strike, a second-half equalizer, a game-changing red card just 5 minutes after that, and then deep into the grueling depths of extra time, the ultimate decisive blow. It was this attritional, exhausting game of chess that just suddenly turned into a heavyweight brawl.
Argentina knew they needed a much better showing than the round of 16 match against Egypt, so they came flying out of the blocks. And the opening blow came in just the 10th minute from, honestly, a pretty unlikely source. Against a towering, physically imposing Swiss defense, it was the 5'9" midfielder Alexis Mac Allister rose highest. He found space between Djibril Sow and Breel Embolo and glanced a superb, powerful header right past Gregor Kobel into the far corner. What a massive early statement from La Alba Celeste. And we absolutely have to talk about the delivery for that goal. The outswinging corner came from none other than Lionel Messi. That assist is a huge milestone. It marks his 10th career assist across 6 different World Cups. Even in a game where the Swiss defense was marshalling him heavily, his dead ball delivery is still just absolutely lethal.
Act 2, the Swiss resistance and the controversy. And this brilliantly illustrates the tactical shift that defined the middle of the match. The initial Argentine storm passed, knockout football reality set in, and Murat Yakin's Swiss side just dug their heels in. They refused to capitulate. Argentina actually seemed content to concede possession and invite pressure, basically sitting back and waiting to counter. Switzerland, on the flip side, adopted a patient, attritional defensive block, all while aggressively probing for an opening on the break. The game basically slowed to a crawl as these two styles wrestled for control.
But you know, that Swiss persistence? It paid off wonderfully in the 67th minute. Dan Andoy initiated this brilliant counterattack, exchanging a slick 1-2 pass with the overlapping left back, Ricardo Rodriguez. Rodriguez delivered a pinpoint cross, and Andoy slotted a clinical finish right under the body of Emiliano Martinez. Just like that, it's 1-1, and the momentum has swung entirely over to the European side.
But wait, just 5 minutes later, the match gets turned completely on its head by a really controversial sequence. Let's look at the facts here. In the 72nd minute, Leandro Paredes was initially shown a yellow card for a challenge on Breel Embolo. However, VAR intervenes. The referee ends up rescinding Paredes' yellow card, and in a massive twist, gives Embolo a second yellow for simulation. Boom! In a moment of mistaken identity and absolute madness,
Act 3, extra time heroics and a rocket.
Now, even down a man, Switzerland bunkered in incredibly well. Argentina wasted chances, and regulation ended locked at 1 apiece. Switzerland was literally throwing bodies on the line, clearly hoping to drag it to a penalty shootout, while Argentina just kept mounting wave after wave of desperate attacks. Going into extra time, striker Julian Alvarez had really struggled to find his footing in this 2026 tournament. He hadn't scored at all in the lead-up to this quarterfinal. But as they say, great players find a way to step up when their team desperately needs something extraordinary to break a brave 10-man resistance.
And wow, in the 112th minute, Alvarez delivered exactly that. Cutting in from the left flank, he found a tiny pocket of space and unleashed an absolutely breathtaking, unstoppable 25-yard rocket that swept straight into the top right corner. It was a spectacular strike. It finally broke the Swiss deadlock and sent the Argentine supporters in the stadium into absolute raptures. With the clock ticking past 120 minutes, a desperate Swiss side threw absolutely everyone forward in a last-ditch attempt for a leveler. But, well, that just left them completely exposed at the back. Thiago Almada drove the ball forward on a counter, and Lautaro Martinez was right there to clinically slam home the rebound. That sealed the game with a somewhat flattering 3-1 final scoreline.
Rating the standout performers.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the incredible consistency across the core of the team, looking at the Goal.com ratings. It was a monumental shift from the Argentina squad to outlast this Swiss side. You have Messi with the key assist, Alvarez with the match-winning rocket, and McAllister with the crucial opening header, all earning 8 out of 10s. But look at the defense. Lisandro Martinez also pulled an 8 out of 10. He was phenomenal, completing key passes into the final third while making several vital clearances to keep those dangerous Swiss counterattacks at bay. It was a true team effort across the lines.
Epilogue: the blockbuster England showdown.
So with the Swiss resistance broken, Argentina marches on. But there's absolutely no time to rest. They now turn their attention to a blockbuster clash in Atlanta against none other than England. And, the history between these two nations makes this matchup incredibly heavy with context. Off the pitch, there's the historical 1982 conflict over the Falkland Islands, or Las Malvinas. On the pitch, the rivalry is legendary. We're talking Diego Maradona's infamous Hand of God and his dazzling solo goal in 1986, Argentina's dramatic penalty shootout win in 1998, and England's hard-fought revenge in 2002. These historical flashpoints guarantee the atmosphere is going to be absolutely electric.
Thomas Tuchel's England side is coming in fresh off a 2-1 victory over Norway, fueled by Jude Bellingham's heroics. As the press rightly calls it, this is a mouth-watering semi-final meeting. Both teams have survived grueling tests to get here, and both possess world-class talent capable of turning a match on its head in a single second.
Which brings us to our final thought. Argentina has the momentum, the magic of Messi, and a newly confident Julian Alvarez. But England is a remarkably resilient, tactically sound unit right now under Tuchel. So, the ultimate question remains, can this Argentine squad conquer their historic rivals to edge one step closer to back-to-back World Cup glory? We'll find out on Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and enjoy the semifinals.